Hey guys, what's up? GreenMachineSam back with another video, and today we have another Chicago Bears React video. Now, I wasn't able to get one out after, of course, the Minnesota Vikings game of us losing in overtime because Matt Eberflus can't fucking coach a defense. But since I waited, we were going to react to the Detroit Lions game, and then it came out yesterday that Matt Eberflus has been relieved of his duties. I don't remember if Thomas Brown was officially confirmed to be the interim head coach. I would assume it's going to be him. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be. Let me just look it up real quick. I probably should have done this beforehand, but yeah, I don't think it's been completely announced. Maybe it has been, but he should be the interim head coach. You want to look at him just in case he has head coach potential. I know there was a report that said he was the runner-up, apparently, in Tennessee to be the head coach. So we were lucky to get him on our staff just in general, let alone, getting him as a pass game coordinator and then moving up to OC and then potentially interim head coach, depending on how he does over these last couple weeks and how the people respond to him. Now, I do want to say this, right? Teams do have a little bit of a boost, it seems like, when you do go to an interim head coach because it gets the old, head coach out of the way. The interim head coach normally comes in very relaxed and very well, they're probably not going to fire two head coaches in a season. They're probably not going to fire me. They're just going to let this ride out no matter almost what happens, unless, I do absolute disaster classes, which I don't think you can top what fucking Eberflus has done this season, just being completely fair and honest about that, right? When Chicago Bears fans are putting up, TikToks and polls and all this and that on social media, basically asking other Bears fans, or even stating their own opinion of, what losses have been worse this season. The Hail Mary, the blocked field goal, the field goal in overtime after Caleb does all that to get us back in the game, the blowout against the Cardinals, the loss to, the Colts where the offense was just inept the whole time. What's the worst loss we've had this season? Rank them, all that fun stuff. That's probably the most annoying thing having to deal with right now as a Bears fan is understanding that we've had so many bad losses, not bad losses like, hey, we should have beaten this team and we lost by a significant amount of points, right? I was even saying this during the Detroit game. I'm like, at this point, I would rather get blown out than fucking see us come back and get destroyed in the last minute of the game where Eberflus makes another fucking error as a head coach, right? And I know everybody's talking about the final 30 seconds of the game against Detroit and how, it's partially on Caleb, but it's more on Eberflus. No, it's completely on Eberflus. Caleb is a rookie quarterback. And I'm not going to sit here and say that because I think that he, shouldn't be in charge and doesn't know what he's doing. I'm saying that because as a head coach, you've probably told him, let me handle the timeout situation, let me handle the clock. You just worry about playing for now. We'll figure it out later down the road and later down in the season, as well as in your career. Once we get a handle on everything else, once we get a handle on that, then we can start having you manage the clock as well. And it's just annoying. It is. I'm so glad Eberflus is gone. I said it in the offseason. I said if we drafted Caleb Williams, we should get rid of Eberflus. We should start fresh. We should go get an offensive guy. We should hire one of these former head coaches that are good at defense. Hell, even ask Eberflus if he would be willing to take on the defensive coordinator role and just move aside for a different head coach. I know nobody would realistically do that, but I would have been like, hey, we'll let you keep your money, we'll let you keep your contract, but you're getting demoted to defensive coordinator if this guy wants to bring you on. If not, we'll let you walk. Right? That's what I would have done anyway. I would have went for a new head coach. I would have said, okay, we're going to go look at new head coaches. We're going to see where we're at. And then depending on who it is, if they would be willing to bring Eberflus in as a defensive coordinator, I would have said, hey, we'll let you keep your current contract, so you're still getting paid head coach money, just you're going to be a defensive coordinator for this new guy that we're bringing in if he wants to bring you in. That was my thought process. Now, I understand that would be a kind of a weird situation, especially in the locker room, but that was always my thought process, was just see if it could play out. If the new guy didn't want him, or if if Eberflus didn't want to do it or whatever, you could always, you can always make changes as you go, right? Or go bring in a guy that was a good defensive coordinator, became a head coach, wasn't really all that. Like Vic Fangio, like Brian Flores, like Zimmer. I know Zimmer hasn't done that well as a coordinator this year, But and I know he's dealt with injuries, right? Cowboys fans, I understand that. I know he's missed, DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons and I think you've missed Deron Bland a little bit this season and Trevon Diggs, and now Josh Butler, emerging corner for you guys, has went down. I know you guys have dealt with some injuries on the back end, but I'm just saying, like, you could have went out and got one of those guys that had very good defensive schemes, could coach a defense really well. You could have went out and gotten some of those guys, as well as a new offensive, minded head coach. Not maybe Ben Johnson. I truly think Ben Johnson, because I don't remember the exact quote, but he was basically saying, like, why would I go take a job at a place that I don't truly think they're going to let me build it and let me, have time to really make a team. I think the Bears, if they would have offered him the bag, I think that's one of the only places he would have went. Now, granted, does he have extreme loyalty to, Dan Campbell? Would he even be willing to do that in our division? I don't know. But it would have been worth the thought process, right? So Eberflus is finally gone. Hopefully the team can stay on track with Thomas Brown and I forget the defensive coordinator's name, but hopefully we can just play a little bit better, all right? At this point, the season's kind of over, where we're at as a team, being, 4-8 now or whatever, because we're on a 6-game lose streak. I think it's 4-8. I understand that there's probably no way of coming back. The best you could possibly do is 9-8. You'd have to basically reverse sweep the rest of your division games. You still have San Fran and Seattle as well. So it would be a very difficult, tall order. I know San Fran's not playing up to the level. I know they're dealing with some injuries. I know the Seahawks aren't particularly great because of their offensive line and some of their run-stopping stuff. But if we could go on a magical run, 9-8, I don't know if that gets you into the playoffs. But at least it would be a good showing, right? I'm not going to advocate for losing games to have a better draft pick. I'm just not going to do it this season. I would rather see the team develop and be good and look good rather than sit here and be like, oh, let's lose games so we can have a better draft pick. No, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. Go win out. Go fucking play the games. Go put some shit on paper. Everybody should be going out there wanting to put shit on paper. Gerald Everett and Keenan Allen, you guys are fighting for contracts going into this offseason. Go put some shit on paper. Matt Pryor, I'm pretty sure, is fighting for a contract. Tevin Jenkins, you're fighting for a contract. So many of you guys are fighting for contracts. Go fucking put some shit on paper. Go show us why you're supposed to be here, or go show another team why you should get paid. Either way. I will want to say, the fact that some Bears fans are even still bringing up Justin Fields at this point and whether or not we should have kept Justin Fields. Caleb Williams is on the team. Drop that shit, okay? Even I was the biggest Justin Fields fan. Trust me, I'm a bigger Justin Fields fan than I am Caleb Williams. But Caleb Williams is our quarterback. He looks good. He looks like the franchise guy. Please, for the love of God, stop bringing up Justin Fields. Please. He is not on the team anymore. He is not going to suck your dick. Please stop it, okay? Yes, we understand that he was put in a much worse situation than Caleb Williams. I think a lot of Bears fans will agree to that and understand that. But stop pretending like he is on the team. Stop pretending like it's still a debate of who we want at quarterback. It is no longer a debate. It is Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams looks good. He is playing against some very good defenses. In the last 3 games, okay? We're just going to focus on the last 3 games because they're divisional games, so they're going to be played pretty tough. 2, Green Bay, Minnesota, and Detroit all have pretty decent defenses, if I do remember correctly, or at least are ranked pretty well. He is averaging 275 yards. He is averaging 7 yards per completion. He is averaging 1.7 touchdowns per game. Granted, that's with the Green Bay game, him not getting any touchdowns. He has not thrown a single pick in the last 3 games. He is averaging a 99.2 rating. He is getting sacked less. This Detroit game was the one game where he kind of got sacked a little bit at 5. He's throwing the ball pretty well. Besides this last game where he kind of had some accuracy issues to start off the game, he's still throwing at a 64 completion percentage. The 2 games before that, Minnesota and Green Bay, he was throwing at a 71% completion percentage. He is throwing the ball 39 times a game. He's completing 25 of them. He is a good quarterback. He is our guy, right? And I do want to state this because I do have the stats pulled up. Roschon Johnson has gotten 9 carries inside the 5-yard line for 10 yards and for 6 touchdowns. He has gotten the ball 10 times for 11 yards and 6 touchdowns inside the 10-yard line. So we are taking away chances for Caleb Williams to go get a touchdown with Roschon Johnson, okay? So I do want to put that out there, okay? It's not Caleb Williams not being able to find the end zone and not getting... He's just not getting the chances. Thomas Brown, and I understand why they're giving it to Roschon. He has a very high clip rate of being able to get into the end zone in the short yard positions. Roschon Johnson absolutely should get those carries. I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm just saying that is the reason why Caleb Williams' touchdown numbers aren't as high as they probably should be. I wish they were a little bit higher, but that does not matter at this point. As long as we're putting the ball into the end zone and being competitive in those games and trying to win those games, I'm perfectly okay with Roschon getting those touches. Like I said, I am so over the Bears fans acting like I'm so over other Bears fans acting like Justin Fields is still on the team. It's still a debate. We should maybe bring Justin Fields back. Some bullshit like that. Caleb Williams is the future. If you are not behind him, go fucking root for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm so unbelievably just annoyed with those people on the internet. Yes, I know we didn't get Justin Fields' help. I truly understand that. Trust me, I was still fighting for Justin Fields in this last offseason. I was still saying I think I'd rather have Justin Fields for one more season than draft Caleb Williams. And if Justin Fields really doesn't work out this season, we could go get a quarterback in the next draft. I was saying that, okay? I'm a big Justin Fields guy. But he is no longer the quarterback of this team. It's just as plain and simple as that. But Eberflus is finally gone. So that's the upside right now. Right? We get to start looking towards the offseason. Like I said, I still want the team to play hard. I still want the team to go out there and compete. Caleb Williams is throwing the ball very good right now. I just want him to continue to show what he is about. He's still a rookie. I don't know why everybody tries to act. Like, I get it. You're trying to get clips. You're trying to get clicks and all this engagement and all this and that on social media. It is Caleb Williams' first season. He is a rookie. He's going to have rookie pains. He's going to have rookie mistakes. We do not need him to be Patrick Mahomes this year. We need him to just show us that he is the guy. That was my statement at the beginning of the season. That was my statement when we were having a really rough patch. That's my statement now that we're having the ultra rough patch. It is not him. It is this offensive line. It was the coaching. This team should turn it around this offseason, hopefully. Ryan Poles, you're lucky that you're firing Eberflus and that Eberflus didn't have an okay season. Because if you gave Eberflus one more season, you would be gone next year with him if he had a bad season. Now, with you being able to go get another head coach, I think that buys you 2 to 3 years. I think it buys you 3 years. You know, give the coach 3 years, give Poles 3 years, give Caleb Williams until the end of his normal rookie contract without the 5th-year option. I think so. We're going to get 3 more years of Caleb Williams. We're going to get 3 years of head coach. We're going to get 3 years of Ryan Poles. I think that buys everybody a little bit of time to stay in their position, continue to build the team, and all that. I do want to say, it's kind of weird that Chicago, so there was reports that the Arlington Heights area was willing to drop the taxes on their property or whatever, or, you know, dismiss the taxes if they were willing to build a stadium there, and that they were willing to help with the funding or something of that nature. But Chicago's still interested in building a stadium inside of Chicago, even though the Chicago area has literally said that they're not going to help with the funding. It's a weird situation. I figured we would have a plan set in place at this point for, the stadium and all this and that. I guess we're not yet. It's kind of getting annoying at this point. Just decide on a fucking location. I understand you want to stay in Chicago. It's not going to change the name of the Chicago Bears, right? There's plenty of teams that play in a different part of the state or a different area in general that are called, their still original name, right? The New York Jets and Giants don't play in New York. San Francisco 49ers no longer play in San Fran, right? So it's just, it is annoying, right? Just decide on a location, decide what's best for the franchise, decide what's best for everybody. It should be a dome, it should, all that fun stuff. It's annoying that we haven't even broken ground yet or had a real plan set in place yet for the new stadium. But we'll see. Over the next couple weeks, we'll see who's really going to fight for their job and who's really going to be there. Like I said, I hope we get a good look at Thomas Brown. I'm not going to sit here and say that he should be the head coach, but I will say if he proves something, if he looks good, if the offense still looks good, if the whole team's just playing better as a whole, I think we could definitely get behind the idea but I'm not 100% sold yet on Thomas Brown. I'm still going to wait and hold out on him, depending on what other teams do. I know there's a lot of reports saying that some coaches could be fired, and some of them I really like, right? Brian Daboll, Kevin Stefanski, Kyle Shanahan, all those guys. I know a lot of those guys are less likely to get fired because they are good coaches. Hopefully their organizations will see that and understand that and not fire them for other mistakes and having, bad rosters or whatever. But we'll see once the off season comes around and all that fun stuff. Just glad Eberflus is gone. People need to shut up. Caleb Williams is the guy. He's going to be the guy for the next 4 to 5 years at minimum. Just don't get me wrong. We definitely played well in these last 3 games. We deserve to win at least 2 of them. But I'm more happy that Eberflus is gone than anything, right? I don't advocate for people, I don't hate Eberflus the man. I hate him as a coach. I want that to be stated, right? Every time I do one of these videos, I like to state that I'm not rooting against the man or the person. I'm rooting against the player. I don't like how the player's playing. I don't like the coaching, how the coaches are coaching, stuff like that. I do want to say that I don't hate Eberflus as a man. I'm not going to disrespect the man. Just because I didn't like your coaching, just because I didn't like how things were turning out for the Bears organization and the franchise, doesn't mean I hate the man. Doesn't mean I want to disrespect the man. Doesn't mean I want to send him any bad, shit. That's one thing that needs to be stated, right? Separate the man from the coach. Separate the man from the player. Separate the person from the dude that we see on TV, right? He's probably a decent man, or at least I would hope so. So please don't send anybody hate. Don't send anybody anything nasty. Don't wish death upon anybody, or, be ignorant towards people. It's just not very nice. It's not a good thing to do, right? Just because they're in the spotlight doesn't mean you get to send them hate at this point. With that being said, guys, if you guys didn't enjoy this video or any of the videos here on my channel, if you guys want to talk Bears, if you guys want to talk Lakers, Oakland A's, whatever, because those are my favorite teams for some fucking reason. I don't know. I'm bad at picking teams. But if you guys want to talk anything football related, I don't know. Hopefully we'll be able to get more involved in the offseason, especially with the draft process. Hopefully I'll be able to get some mock drafts out this season, as well as some other stuff, head coach stuff. I want to cover more and more in real life football content as well, just because it's more fun, right? I think it's a lot more fun. It would be a fun thing to do. But with that being said, I'm out. Peace.